the Flash as the
Look,
trickster?
those guys are so smart. It's Greg Berlanti and Andrew Kreisberg. Because when they said they wanted you to be on the Flash, I said, well, I'm a contemporary of John. And in the story, John Wesley Shipp is in the prison, right? So I figured, I'll play the warden. I could play the prison pastor or something, maybe a cellmate of his. So I said to my agent, ask who they want me to play. When they said the trickster, I said, are you kidding me? I mean, it was dodgy wearing a one-piece unitard 20 years ago. I don't think I can handle it now. Let's be age appropriate, okay? There's no dignity. But they said, no, well, come in and let's talk about it. Because I said, yeah, it'd be really ridiculous in a way. Because, the Grant Gustin, he's like 24 or something like that. I mean, it just seems wrong. But then they had the idea of making him more sort of like Hannibal Lecter-y and trying to find that Devin Gray just knocked my socks off. That kid, not a kid, he's a young man who played the second trickster. It was amazing because they did my close-ups first in that scene at the end, and when they turned the camera around on him, and he did it so real, because I'm just doing grotesque kind of, children's theater villainy, and he looked at me and he was so damaged. I mean, it just broke my heart. I thought I would have played it so differently if I knew you were going to do it that real. Because he didn't do it until the camera was on him. He's a fantastic actor. And I said to Greg and to Andrew, I said, not only do I think he should come back, you know what we ought to do? We ought to reclaim Prank. Because you know that Prank was created before Harley Quinn. And I don't think she gets her due. Because if you look at what Corinne Bohrer played her in the second episode of the original series, Trial of the Trickster, she's the daughter of a toy factory mogul, and she's a wannabe. She's totally in love with the trickster. She's batshit crazy, and she's becomes my henchwoman. Sound familiar? No, listen, nobody loves Harley Quinn more than me, and boy, Arlene Sorkin, when she first came out with that voice, we just fell off our chairs. She didn't have a name in the first Batman we did. She was just like Joker's henchwench or something. And when she came out with that Judy Holliday Born Yesterday voice, I got the chills. I said, we're in the presence of greatness. And all we could talk about later was, I said, you've got to bring her back. So, but anyway, I just thought it would be interesting because people will all accuse Prank of being, derivative of Harley Quinn when it's quite the opposite. And I saw Corinne not too long ago. She looks fantastic. And I just think it would be great to have, the trickster and his wife and the goofball son. Just, a train wreck of a family. So maybe we'll do something like that.
Mr. Hamill, I have a question over here. I'm a huge fan. Love your work. Love the way you lost your hand to your father. My question is, out of the two lightsaber duels you were participating in, which one was your favorite and why?
Well, the first one was Empire, and it was brutal. I mean, we shot it over weeks and weeks. I mean, I forget, people know facts, and I hope I don't get them wrong, but I think it was almost 10 different sets. So, you do 3 or 4 days, and then they do 2 days of something else. It was spread out, and it was grueling, because, it was supposed to be set in a carbon freezing chamber, right? See, I'm so used to working in theater. I want to work, go over to this side now. Bye-bye! Okay, you can give me devil horns if you feel like it. What are we talking about?
Lightsaber duel.
Oh, lightsaber duels. So, I connected to family. Star Wars is family. All of us, you know, we related to our own family. That's what's so relatable about these films. Sure, they're escapism, because you turn on the news and, well, these days it's like some political spy thriller, you know, with Russians, and nobody wants that. We don't like reality. We want escapism. And whether you go to Narnia or you go to Oz or wherever it is, Middle Earth, we need this. It's like therapeutic for us to be able to cope with real life. So anyway, I related to family. Nathan was born when we were doing Empire Strikes Back. Griffin was born within a month of Return of the Jedi coming out. And then Chelsea came out for Slipstream, one of my favorite flop movies I ever made. And you know, it's interesting. I like things that were not commercially successful, in some cases more than things that were commercially successful. On television, the Texas Wheelers, it was way ahead of its time. It was no laugh track, sort of like an antidote to how warm and sweet the Waltons were. We were cussing and liars and drunks. It was too ahead of its time, 1974. In those days, a comedy without a laugh track was considered innovative. You know, they would do test audiences, and the audiences would say, well, it's funny, but nobody's laughing. You're too young to remember when comedies always had a false laugh track. So on Broadway, Harrigan and Hart only ran a month on Broadway. It was one of my favorite parts ever. It's amazing. I mean, it only ran 6 weeks. I got a Drama Desk nomination out of it. It didn't run, but I never regret having done it. So yeah, well, you're talking about the lightsaber duels. See, I told you, I should have prepared something, but I didn't. Yes, we're good summer.
All right, so, okay, what was your favorite Joker line?
I am a father like...
Without Batman, crime has no punchline. Because I thought, wow, it's an episode that's sort of a takeoff on Thelma and Louise when Harvey and Ivy team up and they leave Joker. He's shuffling around the house and, no, I'm getting this all wrong. It's the man who killed Batman. Matt Frewer plays this little nothing hood who apparently kills Batman. It was so illuminating to me for my character because once Joker thought Batman was dead, he had nothing to live for. He had no raison d'etre, to use the toffee-nosed French term. But he was a sad case, you know, just shuffling around the house in his furry slithers. But that meant a lot to me. Paul Dini wrote that. If I remember it, you know, I mean, that's my problem. I don't remember. He's talking about, dear friends, today is the day the clown cried. And he cries, no, see, I'm going up. I don't remember it very well. It's one of my favorite episodes, though, because in that eulogy speech, which, like I say, if I had at least done some homework, I would have remembered it. But it goes, you know, it runs the gamut, because he starts out very pious. But he starts losing it as he's eulogizing the guy that stole his reason to live. It just goes bonkers. If I come back, I promise I'll memorize it again. You know what's really hard is you guys know more about the movies than I do, honestly. Because I haven't seen the Star Wars films since they were in when the special editions came out. And I said, just send a copy to the house. I'll watch them when I get a chance. And my kids went, no, we gotta see them in the movie theaters, right? I thought, oh wow, that's true, because they were too young to see them in the movie theaters. And it really is a different experience. So we saw each of the special editions in the movie theaters, and that's 1997, 20 years ago, and I haven't seen them since. By the way, it's hard, you know. I'm a professional liar. They pay me money to just lie and pretend like I'm somebody that I'm not. And I love that. But, so there's no, oh good, I'm glad I'm not working blue. There's no age limit, that's good.
I have a question.
Yes?
Okay. I won't ask you to, how's right? Yeah. I won't ask you to recite anything, because you've said multiple times you've got nothing prepared. But I do want you to answer in character for all of us. I have a question from one Joker to another. Why would you ever pick a character who was good when you could only pick characters who are bad? The dark side is just so much more fun.
You see, that was a perfectly legitimate, great Joker voice. And you know, people say, what's your favorite Joker? Listen, I've never seen one where I just said, oh, that was terrible. I liked Cesar Romero, I loved Jack Nicholson, I liked Heath Ledger, I liked Michael Emerson, Kevin Michael Richardson, Jeff Bennett on Brave and the Bold. Brent Spiner did it. There's always something that each actor brings to it where you go, gee, I never thought of that. I like the way he did this or that. And then with Heath Ledger, it was so unexpected. A completely joyless clown. It was almost like a heroin addict. It was really hard to watch, but just brilliant. Yes. You all heard that? He's asking about what it was like working with Alec Guinness. Well, first of all, he invited me to lunch to meet me before we worked. That's already a good sign, because that means he cares about the other actors. He can just show up on set the first day, how do you do, hit your mark. And he was the sweetest, gentlest, most wonderful, like the epitome of an English gentleman. So kind, so generous. I've been wanting to talk about the lady killers or the Lavender Hill mob or preach on the river. I said, no. I want to hear about your career. What, a dog food commercial and a soap opera? Give me a break. He loved, first of all, he loved how irreverent American humor can be. And once I got over, because I was really tongue-tied around him, it was like being in the principal's office, like, gosh. But once I got relaxed around him, it was wonderful. And we stayed in contact. We exchanged letters years after the movie. When I go to London, he's been playing in the West End, I go see the play, we go out after dinner. And he was always lecturing me about loyalty. He would tell me stories about this one actress we gave recommended for a part, and she went all Hollywood on him, and I said, who was it? It's not important, it's not important. That's Susanna York, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Susanna York. Because I could do, I have some knowledge about films, but he would always, he's too much of a gentleman. But he loved to laugh. We were in North Africa one time, and Lady Guinness. See, I could always remember, if you say something that's irreverent or unexpected, it usually gets a good response from Alec, who I kept calling Sir Alec, Sir Alec, Sir Alec. And one day he just leaned over and he said, "You did my face tonight." I said, "How? Why'd you do that?" He said, "I want to be known by my name, not my accolade." I said, "What do you might want me to call you? Big Al? You want that?" So he kind of did want me to call him Big Al. But one time, this is a true story, it sounds like a total setup, but it's true, and I thought, I only did it because I knew it would make him laugh. I didn't really think it through because it probably really offended his wife. But she was, that's Millie, you'll be meeting her later. A rescue pup, yeah. And we just rescued another one named Mabel. Yeah. You know, adopt, don't shop. Get these two off of death row. So anyway, she's sketching this mosque in North Africa, and one of the set security guys just went off. I mean, we thought he'd lost his mind. Oh, look who's here. How are you? Here, you want to get up? So anyway, I'm trying, she's... You want to tell the story? Come here. Here we go. So anyway, this guy just loses his mind. And he's screaming at us in Arabic mixed with French, I don't know what. He grabs the tablet out of her hand, pulls the page of the mosque that she was drawing, and rips it up and throws it down. We were stunned. I mean, we later found out it's sacrilegious to draw a mosque. But we were Westerners, we didn't know what was going on. So we were sort of ashen-faced, and he goes stomping off, and he was just livid. And Alex said to me, who in the world was that? I said, I don't know, I have no idea. Unless perhaps it's a local art critic?
So Mr. Hamill.
He loved that.
So Mr. Hamill, question for you. Was there a particular day or a moment from filming, whether it's the original trilogy, the new ones, any moment that stands out as being particularly fun or exciting? And first, though, can you give us the Force Awakens stare?
Listen, you guys, I have to tell you, I got so used to my minimal participation. I said to Disney this time, I said, let's do what we did last time, where I don't go on Fallon or Kimmel or any of them. Like when they went on Graham Norton, I went and visited Children's Hospital. I said, I'll go out there and do stuff, but we should do charities and stuff like that instead of, because they wanted me not to be seen. And by the way, people that have me sign the Force Awakens poster, don't you think I should just initial it? I've given it some thought. But, now you're asking about favorite moments. There would be moments where you would be filming, you'd seen this scene in every Tarzan picture ever made. When the Ewoks have the rope thing and we're all in that net. Listen, it was hilarious. Because we were trying to get ourselves positioned to be as awkward looking as we could. So, you know, I slid on my back and got my legs up and then hooked them outside we tried to get it arranged so as it revolved. You know, you had to time it. So Harrison goes by and they think straight feels a god. No, but the camera's not. You know, you had to get in rotation, everybody right. I'd forgotten how much fun it was, and then you click on things on YouTube and stuff where like behind the scenes footage. So that was great fun because you'd seen it in a million Tarzan movies. The swing across with the princess. Have I told all these stories before? I probably have. You should just have buzzers where you go, Because really with the swing across, we were wearing harnesses. The same people that fly Peter Pan on stage, the flying boys. And so we were hooked together, we're each in different harnesses. And usually in movies, you know you're gonna do it 4, 5, 6 times, sometimes ridiculously way more than you could ever imagine doing. On this shot, which I was really looking forward to, because it's fun to fly, right? 4 cameras running, 1 take, camera A, good, B, C, D, okay, moving on. I said, what a chip! Come on, really? You all got it? And the guy that was flying, I said, well, what's the problem? I said, well, I was really looking forward to flying. Oh, you want to fly? Disconnect Carrie from Mark. And they did, because we were hooked by a ring. And they got her down, and they proceeded to fly me all around the soundstage. I'm flying. Now, I was having the time of my life. You look down and you see George going. Because, I mean, I'm an insurance risk. I'm not like a full person to him. All he can see is if I wind up a spot on the wall, you know, they're in big trouble. So that I love doing. Listen, it was nonstop fun for me. It was all the sort of stuff I used to play in my backyard. Whether it's Robin Hood or Superman, or we used to play King Kong and fight dinosaurs and all that. I was always in that world. And now to get a job where that's what you do for your living, I mean, seriously. If I go back in time and tell the 10-year-old Mark, when you grow up, you're going to be doing comic books, cartoons, video games, movies, television, radio. I've just been so lucky. I mean, if you can find something that you really like and enjoy for your livelihood, that's you can't be luckier than that. Yeah. Okay. He's talking about Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger. And when I was doing a series called The Texas Wheelers, I mentioned earlier, it was right there at Radford. And he and Jan Fisher had a house that was like 2 miles from the studio. And a lot of my friends hung out there. We used to play board games and so forth. And at one point, Robert said, have you been out for that new George Lucas thing? I said, I love George Lucas, the guy who did graffiti, right? Yeah, it's some sort of Flash Gordon thing. And I said, oh, okay. Now, the story has taken on a life of its own because it's been embellished where we were roommates. We weren't. I was over at his house a lot, but he lived with this girl, Jan Fisher. And other people, my agent one of my agents really mad about that story because she told me about it. Gary Busey, everybody in Hollywood had been after this thing. But I mean, the essence of the story is true. And I hate to rain on Robert's parade, but many people told us, oh my gosh, I thought this girl was just waving at me. I think she said 5 minutes. Is that what you need? Oh, you need to cut it off now? Listen, okay. I will talk right up until they wrestle me to the ground and drag me kicking and screaming to my car. This is my favorite thing, because, there's a sort of an assembly line quality to, keep it moving, you've only done 40 in 20 minutes or whatever. Here's the chance where I really get to just do relate to you guys and have fun. It's much better than this is my favorite thing at cons. Yes. He did not ask us to read it, and Martin Sheen told me about it. I went, oh my gosh. And when I read it, you're right. It has a profound influence on not just Star Wars, but a lot of movies. But that would happen so many times. I didn't see The Hidden Fortress until well after Star Wars. Oh my God. These two manservants are C-3PO and R2. They're rescuing a princess. There's all these things. George doesn't hide that at all. I mean, I remember them pointing out how Raiders of the Lost Ark was influenced by Karl Barks' Uncle Scrooge. For talking about deep literary references. Yes, go ahead. I loved Rogue One. Hey, that's a good story. Now, has anyone not seen Rogue One here? Uh-oh, because I want to do a spoiler. Because here's what happened. Let me tell you something. If I get invited to a movie set, I've never said no. In other words, when I go to the theater, they say, come during the intermission, they say, the cast would like to meet you after the show. I never say no, I always do it. But I never go and say, can I go backstage? Only if they ask me, because I know what it's like to do 8 a week. I mean, it's a grind. You gotta get home, you gotta get ready for the matinee, whatever it is. So I never try and inject myself. The same with movie sets. If you have a guest, I like having guests, but they're outside the rhythm of what you're doing. It can be a distraction. So I never say, I want to go visit Rogue One. But Kathy Kennedy said, Gareth said that Felicity and the cast would like to meet you. I said, I'd love that, okay. When is it? Thursday. So Thursday morning I got up, put on my olive green Godzilla t-shirt, shamelessly pandering to the director. And this is the 5 words. The worst 5 words, and for me, the worst 5-word movie spoiler I've ever heard in my life. Because when we were talking about it, I said, what's so great about these standalone films, Gareth, is you don't have to follow the 3-act form that the trilogies do. They're standalone. This is like a gritty World War II. I'm assuming that the Han Solo, he's a scoundrel and a womanizer and a gambler. It's going to have a much more kind of a Tom Jones, roguish, fun feel to it. They can all have different personalities. And one thing that's great about the standalone films, it's not like the prequels, where you see somebody playing Obi-Wan, and he can't die because you've seen him in the later movies. Gareth turned to me and really casually said 5 words. And this one, everyone does. I can't tell you how much I hate you right now. It was just like really casual. You don't understand. We have been so trained. It's like working for the CIA. You can't slip and do anything that would even make you. I was speaking at a school in London. I was talking about how much I like Daisy, and she's so funny, and she's just gorgeous. And I started veering in my mind. I thought, this is getting a little kind of dirty old man. So I tried to throw in, and I mean that in a very fatherly way. Well, the audience just gasped. I said, no, don't parse everything I say 6 ways from Sunday. But you see what I'm saying? Like, even when you're not trying to do something, it can be interpreted wrong. So what I'm saying was, I was just assuming that we'd all been indoctrinated into that, give no quarter, drop no spoilers. When he said that, I said, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm going to make you really sorry for those 5 words. The only 4 or 5 words I can think of that would be even scarier is, Dad, it's Harrison Ford for you on line 2. Hello? Hey kid, let's go flying. No, I begged him. Please, just any future flights, make them all green screen, please. Oh my gosh. See, there's tragedy that turns into comedy. He lands on a golf course. What are the odds there would be actual doctors there playing golf? But seriously, spoilers. Thank you. And listen, I have to tell you something. One of the things that's so great about these movies is they are very optimistic films. They do talk about selflessness and doing the right thing because it is the right thing. Not thinking about yourself, but thinking about the